My God. If you all could have just heard the countdown into this episode.
It was a special one.
It was a good one.
I do it every time I'm operating everything. So I do the Freddie Benson countdown. And I gave it a little bit of jazz today.
It was very sultry and low.
Do you want to replicate it?
Sure.
Go.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah.
So this is what I heard upon entering. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
I didn't point, first of all. Second of all, I don't know if that was a very good representation of what I did.
Well, you left it up for interpretation.
Right. So that was your version of it. John's version.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
Ringside parentheses John's version.
Yeah. I feel like I'm really loud on the mic today. I'll try to be quiet. Sorry, guys. I'll try to be quiet.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Ringside. I'm John.
I'm Kendra.
And boy, oh boy, have we got an episode for you and only you.
Anyone can watch. And I stress that. Send it to anyone.
Send it to everyone. Your friends, your mom, your enemies.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to get violence on this episode. We oppose violence. So what we are going to talk about, though, is a lot happening. We're going to cut through the shit.
Okay.
We're going to get right to it.
Okay. Except for the intro that we just did. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Let's cut to it.
No, so a lot's been happening. And particularly in the world of Marvel. So
my computer is huffing and puffing. I don't know if you guys can hear
working.
it. She is twerking.
I'm in here in the middle of my thought, and I just hear.
She's quite rude. She's interrupting you. I'm sorry.
I mean, she's got a lot to say. we are talking about our PC.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's been a lot of excitement around Marvel that we haven't quite seen, at least in terms of the fandom. We're pretty excited in general about, whatever Marvel's got going on. We're still fans. But in terms of like the general population, I feel like the brand's taken a little bit of a hit over the last year or two or three. But there's been a general excitement that I don't think has been there. And I think it has to do, we talked about this a few weeks ago off the podcast, which we're ones to do.
We talk to each other.
Folks, remember to talk to each other. No, and I think it has to do a lot with the transition into more mature works, more mature projects. So this year alone, we started the year with Echo, which if you haven't watched Echo,
great.
It's a fantastic show. Mm-hmm. It is very brutal. It is very TVMA, but it was fantastic. And then we got, which is still probably in my top 5 favorite TV shows of the year so far, X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Which I know it's animated. I know the original cartoon was geared towards Saturday morning, for kids.
This one's not.
This one is not. And if anyone tries to convince you otherwise, they're just lying. I'm sure you can enjoy it with certain members of the family if they're a certain age.
Maybe older kids.
Yeah, but again, I would say that's more for adults. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, we're a couple weeks shy of Deadpool and Wolverine, which is very much an R-rated, the very first R-rated MCU project. So, and I think it's part of a strategy. I think it's a very interesting strategy. And also, we'll talk about this in a little bit. We got the trailer for Agatha All Along, which I think will still kind of be in that TV 14, But even so,
it looks scary.
With some of the imagery we saw from the trailer, it looks pretty spooky. A lot of body horror. So let me ask you, Kendra, do you think this strategy, along with its really this overhaul, slow down of all the projects, do you think that's kind of course correcting the Marvel brand?
I think the slowdown is doing more of the course correcting than catering things to more mature audiences. Just because I feel like since the beginning of the MCU, it's kind of been for adults enjoyed by families. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's never specifically meant for kids. the stuff in the MCU. I'm not talking about like all Marvel Marvel properties, because there's like obviously like Spidey and Friends and shit,
Right.
which is like for kids. But I see that there is this move towards like unapologetically strictly for adults, which I think is great. And it's just kind of what we've seen of them lately. Diversity in like the types of work that they're doing, not just like film and TV, but they're doing horror, and they're doing like whatever the fuck WandaVision was, which was so much fun. And they're doing like all of this, like the editing style of Miss Marvel and how crazy that was. And I think that in conjunction with, especially right now, this is the year of like adult MCU content,
Right.
or MCU adjacent content. So I think that does have something to do with it, but I think them slowing down and being more intentional with what they put out and putting like effort and thought beyond, we need this puzzle piece for this to make sense, and that's the only reason why we're doing it. I think that is doing much more of the heavy lifting than anything else.
I like that answer.
And I think it was so smart of them to like recognize that they had a problem and fix it, because they could have just kept plowing through.
Yeah, I really think that and not that I'm in the business of like praising billionaires, you know,
Yeah.
Especially when you're like, when your company is basically firing a bunch of people from a multitude of your departments. But I do think that Bob Iger kind of recognized that, whereas the Bob Chapek
Paycheck. Yeah.
was really focused on like, we have to get Disney Plus, you know, to thrive. So we're just going to
Push everything. And also COVID did throw a spanner in the works. I will say, I don't think that COVID is the reason why certain projects were like rushed or bad or whatever, but it didn't help anything.
No. But I mean, you did certainly see a quality dip, and you know, again, any review that we've ever given to any of those projects from phase 4 and 5, I stand by. Like at large, I have still enjoyed the MCU, and of course, there's going to be some stuff that is better than others. Loki 2 is one of the best Marvel things in general, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And even though I think Quantumania was fun, there's a very clear like distinction of like quality there, right?
Yeah.
But when you have the same fucking writers and animators and VFX artists and all these people working on 10 projects at a time, they're going to be stretched thin, right? So I agree. I think that just the slow down and really focus. And I mean, it's Deadpool, so like they're pulling out all as Deadpool and Wolverine, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, you're going to pull out all the stops and like make this the focus of the year, which is smart. And especially because now that we're seeing more and more X-Men properties across all of Marvel, comic books, TV, and now movies, like they're really like trying to get people hyped about X-Men. So I think it's smart that that's another sort of piece to this, is that two of the projects that we mentioned so far have been X-Men projects, X-Men related projects. But yeah, I'm super excited, and I think maybe it's just coincidence that they're leaning into. But I also think that this was the natural next step for them, because I agree. I think a lot of MCU, I mean, the Iron Man was like one of the first scenes we see is him hooking up with a reporter, right? Like, it wasn't necessarily for kids.
Yeah.
Could kids still buy an action figure and a backpack? Sure.
Right.
But like,
and find enjoyment in it. Yeah.
Right. But I agree. I think it's I've never felt like watching one of these, at least more often than not, I've never felt like I was being talked down to by one of these movies. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's just me.
I don't think so.
like, I don't, again, the one I think comes closest to it would maybe be Quantumania, but even then, while we were watching it, I never felt like this is a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a silly movie? A little bit.
Yeah.
It's still fun, but I never felt like I was being treated like a child while watching it. And that's what I appreciate about Marvel in general. But yeah, I think it's been a really exciting year because not a lot's been happening.
Yeah. It makes the releases even more meaningful and fun. It's like fun to have an Agatha teaser. It's like waiting every week to watch X-Men 97 was like fun.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, okay, we have a 2-week break and then we have to watch the next show. Right. And then 2 weeks after that, we have another show and we have to watch them all because the next movie's around the corner and it's going to mention something from each thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I get that. And I don't like, I know that some people did get fatigue from that. I wouldn't say that I had superhero fatigue or whatever it was because I had nothing better to do than to watch all this stuff. Right. But I do like this approach a lot more. This feels more like what it was like before Endgame.
Right.
When we had to like wait. And yeah, it's just, I mean, that's with anything. The waiting, building the anticipation, collecting all these trailers and watching, well, I have an issue with trailers nowadays. They show too much. But like seeing this teaser trailer and then the second teaser trailer and the final trailer and all this stuff and like, I don't know, it just builds this like sense of anticipation that we just didn't have before. Right. So it's just like, oh man, another one.
I hear you. But I agree. I think building that anticipation, I mean, in general, makes audiences more excited. But I don't know. Yeah, I think now I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's now starting to feel fun as opposed to like some people might feeling like, yeah, I oh my God, I have another thing to catch up on so that I know what's happening here. And like, I have to watch this and this, that, and the third, right? So if it takes, rather than getting 3 movies and 4 shows a year, I get 1 movie and 3 shows.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Especially when one of those shows is not directly related to the main canon project anyway. It's just something on its own. Even better.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see how Deadpool does.
Yeah. The tracking's insane. I'll say that much right now.
I just hope I hope it does well. To show them like this approach is working.
Right.
Slow down, be purposeful, focus on 2 or 3 big things a year. Shows and movies.
Right.
Not 3 shows or 3 movies. And people will appreciate it and have the ability to go more often. The movies are so fucking expensive. I don't know if you know about this, but the movies are expensive and everyone's loud and no one knows how to fucking stay off their phone for 2 hours. Pisses me off. If you make a movie that I want to see in the theaters, I'll go see it. Right. If you make a movie that I am wishy-washy about, I will not go see it. So like, and also some people like that. I remember when we were kids, if my parents wanted to take us to a movie, that's not buying a ticket. That's buying 5 tickets. Right. That's insane nowadays. So like, yeah, I don't know. Just have less for people to have to fork over money to go see in the theaters. And maybe more people will see it in theaters.
I fucking agree. Now, the one thing we haven't talked about, which we are very much in support of, glad it happened, the writer's strike also kind of, I think, was a wake-up call. I mean, for many reasons in the industry, like they can't work under the conditions they were working in, especially when they were getting the pay they were getting. So I think that was a wake-up call to just, again, everything we've been saying, to up the quality. You got to make your people happy, right? Yeah. So I also think that was a big part of the inadvertent slowdown because now all these projects were pushed back, but also it gives them, in that time, I hope it gave them time to like regroup and just kind of rethink the strategy there.
Because those would have had to been super tight turnarounds. Like, there's no cushion. You have to have your show finished before this next show comes out next month or whatever. So, yeah, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, the writers and actors strike, excuse me.
Yeah.
So I think that also was a big part of it. But I do hope, all that to say, that they continue with this sort of traction, and just also to not discount your audience that wants that more mature stuff. So I think we'll see more of that with Daredevil whenever that comes out. Blade, if it ever gets made.
If that comes out, yeah. Poor Blade.
I know. But yeah, I'm excited. And if this movie does well, which I think it will, I think we'll be hearing more about Daredevil. We'll be hearing more about the Punisher, and it's gonna be a really good time. But like we previously mentioned, we did get one new trailer and one teaser. And I make that distinction because, we do a lot on social media. We do this podcast. We talk about these things a lot. I feel like a lot of people, and we do it too, where we'll say the trailer for this just dropped when it's a teaser. But a lot of people, I've noticed, are being particularly harsh. And again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like, if you didn't like something, you didn't like something, right? But they're being particularly harsh on the Captain America teaser, citing that it didn't really show them anything or give a lot of details. And that brings something you set up. But I want to make the distinction here before we get really into it. A trailer, I would say nowadays, a trailer is about 2.5, 3 minutes long, which is too long for a trailer, if you ask me. But that's kind of what we see. And a teaser is anywhere between like 30 seconds to a minute 30, right? A minute 30, if I feel like, is pushing it, whatever. It's usually under 2 minutes for a teaser, right? I think that's a cleaner way of saying that. But anyway, so the Agatha All Along trailer was released, and the Captain America Brave New World teaser was released. So anyway, just educating the people out there. Let's start in the way. Let's start in the way which they were released. So Agatha All Along had a trailer drop, and we kind of talked about it a little while ago, but I think the show looks very fun, but it also looks very scary.
It does look fucking scary. I don't do scary well. Even the scary stuff that I do like, I'm still scared of it. Like,
right.
I still need you to stand outside the bathroom door after we watch something scary. So, but I'm super excited for it, and I'm so glad that they're again doing something different and giving us what I assume is going to be horror.
Right.
We got a little taste of that kind of in the first WandaVision, because that was scary too. I don't know if they intended it to be as scary as it was, but it did frighten me. And Werewolf by Night was scary.
I'm still going to say that fucking parts of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness were fucking scary.
That was going to be my next thing. That one was scary. So I like that we're getting more scary stuff, and I like that we're getting scary stuff in scary season.
Right.
Thank you. Anyway, so I'm super excited for it. It doesn't, even if this trailer, even if the trailer had come out looking ass, I'd still watch it because it's Catherine Hahn.
It's Catherine Hahn. We
I'm going to watch it.
This is a Catherine Hahn stan account.
Yeah. So I don't know if we want to get into the details of the trailer. I will say again, all trailers. See, when I was a kid, trailers are what teasers are now.
Right.
And that's how it should be. I don't need but here's the thing. I also watch trailers. I watch trailers and then I watch breakdowns of the trailers to tell me what I missed. I can't help it. So even though I hate trailers for showing me too much, I go and find even more information out about them. Anyway, I feel like we saw a lot in the Agatha trailer, but from what I could see, it was a very interesting, inverse Dorothy Wizard of Oz type thing.
Right.
And I'm really interested to see it. That was a huge cliffhanger after WandaVision. What happened with Agatha? She was just left there. And then I didn't even think about when Wanda gets crushed by all that rubble.
May or may not have died.
What happens then? And that's where we're picking up. And so I'm really excited to finally have that missing piece of the puzzle, this side quest that we never got to go on before. And yeah, I think it's going to be really fun and cool. I mean, I don't think it can be bad. Well, I don't think I won't enjoy it.
Right.
Because Catherine Hahn is in it. And freaking Aubrey Plaza's in it.
And mother herself, Patti LuPone.
Patti LuPone, not Patti LaBelle. Maybe Patti LaBelle will pop up.
She fucking might.
I don't know.
That'd be crazy.
So, and it's like witchy. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for it.
The Halloween like spooky vibes in this are like off the charts. I can only imagine what like the merch is going to look like for this show.
I'm so excited. The pins. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's
going to be, listen, we're all talking shit about anti-big business and bring down the billionaires until capitalism rears its little head in here. We're like, give me more.
We are such hypocrites because we talk about that stuff all the time, and then we hop in the car and go to Disney World and buy merch. But listen, like if you know anything, like look at his wall. If you know anything about the merch for Hocus Pocus at Disney, beautiful merch. Beautiful merch. This, I can only assume is going to be just as good. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I think just the appeal is going to be like gigantic.
The outfits are going to be spectacular.
Yeah. Spooktacular. Ooh. Anyway. Yeah, I'm also very excited for the show for all the same reasons you said. And this trailer, again, I used to be like, I want to find out all the information as it's dropping. I want to hear all the rumors. I've kind of given up on that because that's what made the MCU and stuff less fun for me for a hot second.
I don't like rumors. I don't like set pictures and stuff like that. No.
I want to go in blind to at least to the teaser and trailer. Like that's where I want to get the information from the actual thing, you know? Because like there's a bunch of pictures. I've seen way more pictures from the set of Superman than I've wanted to. And not because I'm very much looking forward to that movie, but that's the problem is that I'm looking forward to it. I want to see it. And people are just posting all sorts of pictures. And I'm like, God damn. I liked what Deadpool did where when some set photos were released, they started releasing fake set photos to discourage like people sharing and resharing, right? So that's another thing I'm excited about this show is that we went on such a long Easter egg hunt over what the show, and it even caused, I wonder how much back, like if they look back on it, how poorly it did for them or how great it did for them for all the different titles of the show that were released. And we later found out that was
part of it.
Part of it.
New Rockstars had a very interesting theory that all those leaked titles that were changing were episode titles, and I think they're correct.
Yeah, and probably.
Which is it's a good idea and it's smart.
Yeah. But they took a lot of that bad press because they're like, oh my God, this show's never coming out. They don't know what they're doing with the show. Blah, 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 blah. I'm worried about it.
And they were like, actually, fuck you.
Yeah.
We knew all along.
But they have such a strong ensemble in this that I'm like, even if it, for whatever reason, I don't think it's going to be bad, but even if it was, it would still at the very least be very fun.
Yeah.
Also, interestingly enough, it's under the banner of Marvel Television, not Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Because I know they're doing that a lot now with their series.
Didn't they recently create Marvel Television to do that?
Yes, because they had originally dissolved it. Because Marvel TV used to be its own thing.
Yeah. Did Chapek dissolve it?
Yeah, because everything was being produced under Marvel Studios.
Yeah, and that fucked them over.
Right.
Okay, I see.
So, but now they've got Marvel Animation doing like X-Men 97 and whatever, and What If.
And whatever.
What If. And season 2, really good, by the way. And then now they have Marvel Television doing like, I think they did Echo, but this might be the first time they're doing it under this banner of Marvel Television for Agatha All Along. I'm not sure.
Might have been Echo.
But either way, it's still relatively new, so I like that they're separating all that. And also, I think it's going to cause less confusion because until I'm proven wrong, I don't know how many stakes we'll see from Echo or Agatha All Along play in the main timeline of the MCU.
Oh, I see.
Which is good. I like that we're kind of going back to
being grounded.
Yeah, sort of like what the Netflix series were. They were. It's like, yeah, they were in the world, but kind like that was like its own thing.
Yeah.
You know, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was kind of like that too. Speaking of, we also got a teaser for Captain America: Brave New World. This was one of those like under 2 minutes, and I've seen, and I think this is an improvement for Marvel as of late. I've seen a mostly like mixed feelings. I feel like anytime Marvel anything drops anything now, it's met with a lot of like, other than the Deadpool trailer, it's met with a lot of like immediate people not even like really watching, and they're already saying the movie.
They've already
shit.
formed their opinion,
right? So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, it's not immediate like constant hate. You still have your morons out there that are like, oh, he's not Captain America.
Yeah,
he's Falcon.
Not my Captain America.
I have my thoughts on the teaser. You have your thoughts on the teaser. It's been I've watched it a couple times.
I watched it once,
but it's been a day and a half. So I think my feelings have formed on it. Again, not hard to do. I did enjoy it for what it was. I like that we have a general idea of what the movie is going to be about, and based on what they've said about the movie in the past, right? Sam is still like not fighting, but kind of like in real life, not everyone is still recognizing him as Captain America, right? We knew Thunderbolt Ross was going to be there. Now recast with Harrison Ford, and it's basically what we see. Minor spoilers, but it's in the teaser. So like, basically, we got to protect the president. And to me, like, if you're boiling what this teaser was, that's kind of what it was. We got to protect the president. It's very late 90s, early 2000s action thriller, right? And I'm excited for that. But it didn't really show us a whole lot other than some, what I think is some cool action set pieces and combat. But I know you had
showed us something big at the end.
They showed something very big at the end, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
My turn?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not as easy to please as Jonathan is, unfortunately. He's just such a happy man, and I'm so filled with anger and spite. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. My biggest issue with it, and again, maybe this is because it's a teaser instead of a trailer, although I am one of those people who use them interchangeably. Because again, teasers nowadays are trailers. Yeah. Trailers are the first 10 minutes of the movie. I thought it was very generic. I think that's what I said. I've only seen it once, but it felt like, this is like a superhero action movie trailer. Especially with the whole protect the president thing. Like, I've seen this before. Right. My issue with this whole production, it sucks. Not the production. The situation sucks because before trailers even out, there's already controversy. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But there were like 2 things about the movie before the trailer even came out that people did not vibe with. Yeah. For pretty valid reasons. And then the other thing is that this is a continuation of a story that was told in a TV show that was not good. The show wasn't good. For whatever reason, I know that COVID really took a toll on that one, having to cut a storyline, having to like stop travel. They were traveling throughout the whole show. I get that, but that's like, it's so much against this movie that, again, before a couple of days ago, we had never seen any piece of. We didn't have any idea what it was going to be like. And it's so unfortunate that it has to be this way. I do think if circumstances were different and maybe like Falcon and Winter Soldier, is that what it was called? Mm-hmm. If that was a little bit stronger, maybe I wouldn't have such reservations going into it. But like in the back of my head, I'm like, that show wasn't good.
Now, just taking the teaser on its own kind of merit, I really like some of the things I picked up on was like super specific, like either Falcon like moves, like where he does like that scissor kick. I think that's really cool. There was a scene of him jumping out of a window that kind of took me back to Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So like I don't know, I feel like they're really trying to like give us some of that like iconography.
I will say I called it generic.
Yeah.
A lot of people really want to go back to that time, that phase 2 shit. Not shit. It was all great.
Yeah.
It was all great. I like Captain America Civil War, Captain America
The Winter Soldier,
Captain America The First Avenger. Now that I think about it, all the Captain Americas were so good.
Yeah.
But they were all similar, like the feel of them all. Very like political tension, kind of like wartime.
Yeah.
Action stuff. This is that again. And I think that's why to me it feels overplayed, because I'm like, we got that for like 10 years straight. We saw that a lot already. I'm fully ready for them to blow me away with the trailer. I'm gonna watch the movie. It doesn't matter what I feel about the trailers. I'm gonna still watch the movie because it's still Captain America. But yeah, I think that might have played a little bit into my feelings, being like, it wasn't so much like, oh, nostalgia, I'm going back to like what I liked about those movies. It was like, we're doing it again.
Right.
In this time of being different, we're doing that again.
Which again, if the theme is let's go back to basics, let's put this, especially Sam, who is a character who does not have superpowers, we're putting him in this extraordinary like
dangerous position.
So like I'm a little more open to it, I think. And I remember something you and I talked about is that I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of funny. I don't even know what you're gonna say. The Sam saying to Thunderbolt Ross, I'm getting used to the new look, and Harrison Ford just says, "Oh, they told me to lose the mustache or lose the election." And I'll tell you what, I was like, I don't know. I get that it's mad cheesy. Have y'all ever heard a joke I told? But it also takes me back to Iron Man 2, where Don Cheadle is like, "Listen, it's me. I'm here. Get over it. Whatever." Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. It's I'm sure it's not specifically recalling that or referencing that. I think it's kind of funny, and I think it's a cheeky way of like acknowledging, like, yeah, here we go.
I hated it. One, it's overplayed. It's like such a, what is that word? Not trope, cliche. It's such a cliche for someone to be recast in something and be like, "Huh, you look different than I remember." Ha ha. Oh my God. Like,
you've never watched a sitcom.
I know that. You know what? You know who's watching sitcoms? Grandparents. That's old folks humor. A. B. It's not that this man got recast for no reason. He died.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of in poor taste to make that joke and then put it in the teaser.
Yeah.
You look different. Oh, the other guy died. That's why. That's sad. I don't want to think about him dying.
Yeah.
Anyway, that, you know it, John? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that pissed me off. Actually, I hated the whole teaser. No, that was so stupid, though. Oh my God, I hated that. They could have just not put, oh my God. People are going to, and here's the thing. I don't care what other people think about the content that I'm enjoying. You know what I mean? But it grinds my gears because I'm like, man, people are already so quick to hate on everything you do, and you're just fueling the fire with shit like that. People are going to absolutely make fun of that and talk about how stupid that is.
Anyway, and obviously the big thing that happened at the end, which we also see on the poster. I didn't get it because I saw the poster before I saw the trailer, and I was like, why is someone's hand looks fucking weird? I didn't put two and two together.
Yeah.
And then I saw the trailer. We got our first glimpse at the Red Hulk. I like that it was just a little taste. And again, like, I think it was the right move for them to put it there because it's already speculated, but also, like, I think they needed something big. I was surprised they had all the footage of Giancarlo Esposito, which is actually how you say his name. I never knew that. I was surprised they had all that footage of him in there because I feel like those reshoots with adding adding him in there happened like a month ago.
Yeah.
It was super recent. So it was cool to see him in the trailer or the teaser, excuse me. But I feel like they needed something to get people talking. Mm-hmm. And I think having Red Hulk in there is absolutely the right move. When you consider, like, that was a pretty big storyline when I remember when Red Hulk was like introduced in the comics. It was like 2008. Like, it was.
Oh.
Yeah. And for a long time, it was like a mystery because no one knew who he was. But now it's like famously, like it was revealed to be Thunderbolt Ross.
Spoilers.
So, I'll bleep myself there.
No, it's okay.
But if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I like that he was in there, and I like that it was
Quick.
just enough.
Yeah.
Just enough to like be like, oh shit, he's
Yeah.
gonna be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hopeful because, again, I'm someone who, like, don't show me anything.
Why do you watch teasers?
I don't know. I don't know why I watch teasers or trailers, and I don't know why I watch breakdowns of the teasers and the trailers, but, like, I just simply can't help myself. But, like, I'd rather
What
not,
a fucking nightmare.
I'd rather not be shown stuff like that. But I am operating on the hope. I'm putting on my John pants, and I'm going to be hopeful that because they're showing us that, they're hiding something else. Would love for that to be
How many times have they done that where they're like, distraction, 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 boom.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. So let it be warned, Marvel, if I show up and the coolest thing you have to show me in that movie is Red Hulk, I'm going to be pissed.
Nog. Anyway, that's so a lot of stuff happening in Marvel. Would love to know your thoughts on all the things. So please continue to drop those comments. Real quick, some non-Marvel but still movie-related news. Kendra, I think we're in for the next Barbenheimer. So Universal Pictures has moved Wicked Part 1 from its original date. It was originally slated to come out November 27th, that Thanksgiving kind of time. Still Thanksgiving time, but now they bumped it up by about a week to November 22nd. So, and it seems like they want to avoid direct competition with Disney's Moana 2, right? And it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Two very similar markets, but I think all those families are going to go fill up the seats to go see Moana.
Yeah.
And we will be there. But now it's landed on the same exact date as Paramount's Gladiator 2. Now, you've never seen Gladiator.
No.
Okay. So we have to change that. It's a great movie.
Is Pedro Pascal in it?
No. Russell Crowe's in it.
No,
Joaquin Phoenix is in it.
Now hang on.
A young Joaquin.
Is he creepy skinny?
I don't think he's. No.
Okay.
You're thinking of joke. No. He's an asshole in that movie though. So.
I'm in. I'm just kidding.
But that movie came out in 2000. So this movie is
Yeah.
like decades in the making, right?
Have they been making it for decades?
They've been working on it on and off for quite some time. They've not been actively like filming it, but like it had gone through like writing and then the rights were sold and
yeah.
So they've been working on it. Now it's got a crazy cast. Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Connie Nielsen, Denzel Washington. Like this movie's stacked. But
Connie Nielsen, was she in Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was also in SVU for a season. That was great. She was great in that. So a lot of people are, now that these two very different movies are on the same date, the natural comparison to Barbenheimer, when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out. And so some people are calling it Wickediator. I know you've seen it. Paul Mescal, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but the star of Gladiator 2, has decided to coin it as Glicked.
That's pretty good. It sounds disgusting.
Glicked is foul.
Yeah.
But it's also great. Nothing quite rolls off the tongue like Barbenheimer.
Yeah,
that was
like, that one was good.
I don't know. I think we might see lightning strike twice with this sort of release. You don't think so?
No.
I think you're really underestimating how many people are excited for Gladiator 2.
And here's the thing. I have never seen Gladiator. I've heard of it. I never saw it. When it came out, I was 5 years old, maybe 4. So I didn't see any of the hoopla. I was shitting my diapers or whatever. So like in my head, I'm like, who the fuck's going to see Gladiator 2? Who gives a shit? Probably a lot of people. So I think I'm biased.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
I also don't think that what happened with Barbenheimer is going to happen for a long, long time. And I think people trying to make it happen is going to make it happen less. You can't force something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to an extent. I think forcing it, but I do think it's interesting because I don't think they were looking, when they were picking a date, I don't think they were looking for that. But I do think that, kind of like Barbie and Oppenheimer, very different films.
Yeah.
And two very different audiences. But I think if you hype it up the right way, because all the same film nerds that went to go see Oppenheimer, and listen, I'm a Barbenheimer. I've experienced it. I went and saw both on the same day. It was great. It was sad, but it was great. I was in a very vulnerable state after Oppenheimer. I needed Barbie to lift my spirits a little bit. But
you raise me up.
No, please continue.
So I can stand on mountains.
You raise me up.
It's always fun when you sing it because you can sing good. Shut up. Keep talking about your little films.
Do you want me to sing the rest of it?
Leave the singing to me.
Anyway, speaking of singing, one's a musical, one's not.
Well,
and I don't know. I think if they work together, and I don't know. Will it be this to the same extent? No, I don't think anything like that will ever happen again. But I do think it's a smart. I don't know. I like the strategy of like release that those two very big but very different movies on the same day. Because I feel like you're gonna get a section of the audience that does go see both opening weekend, and I think you just continue to fill up movie theaters that way because you're gonna get people again who are going to see one or the other. And I don't know, like the energy. I mean, even when we went to go see Barbie, like there were people
dressed
up, like having such a blast and such a great time, and it was like such an event. And I feel like
that's what movies need to be like again.
They need to feel like event, like not even just like the cinematic universes that we're big fans of, right? But just like in general, like Gladiator was a huge movie then, and I think it has the potential to be a huge movie now, especially when you have the cast that you have. I think Joseph Quinn's also in it. They have a stacked cast.
I'm sad.
So anyway, and I think Wicked has a little more Barbie power than we think, solely on the back of
Glicked.
Ariana Grande.
Oh.
You said Gleeks?
I said, yeah. Musical theater fucking nerds.
Yeah. I'm not even a huge Wicked guy.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not a huge Ariana Grande guy. Sorry, y'all.
I know you guys were really banking on him being an Ariana. What's an Ariana? Arianator. That's what they're called. That's what you are. Anyway. Yeah, I do think it's smart to obviously have like two very different movies on the same day so that they're not competing as much with each other.
Right.
If they want to have anything similar to what Barbenheimer had, it has to be an internet first movement. And
well, that's where it started. It's not.
What
are you talking about?
I don't believe it.
Well, you don't keep up with this shit, so how would you know?
But you know what I didn't have to keep up with? It found me, Barbenheimer, on TikTok. It's just simply not going to be the same.
Very spicy this episode.
You know why? Hey, guys. You know what I've been doing all fucking day?
This was a choice, by the way.
I love my family. I showed up at my sister's house at 11:30 a.m. to go shopping with her, my mom, and my cousin. I got back home at, what time did I come home?
Like around 8?
8. Oh my God. I spent like
you spent a whole
8 hours walking around shopping. I'm so tired. My voice is shot. And I'm here doing this. So that's why I'm spicy today, John. And I didn't even spend that much money. Damn it. I did it wrong.
Well, we are almost done here.
We're almost done.
Would love to know what y'all think about Glicked. Let us know if you're all in for Glicked.
Are you going to see both of them on the same day?
I might. That's the thing is I might. And I feel like I'm not the only person.
Let's watch Gladiator at a different time, not today. And then we'll see if I want to sit through Gladiator too. I know what you're thinking. Pedro Pascal's in it. He's the love of your life. See. But will I sit through what I assume is a long, sepia-toned movie for him?
You might.
He doesn't do shit for me.
Pedro?
He didn't have my dinner waiting for me when I got home. That was you.
But listen, that's interesting that you're a little more open to it. I think something has changed within you. Something is not the same.
Shut the fuck up. I was like, what do you mean open to? Of course I'll watch it. Damn it. I've been wicked.
We're almost done. We're going to quickly recap a little bit of some big things that happened in WWE. Mm-hmm. So last weekend we had Money in the Bank and NXT Heatwave. Money. Two very good shows, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a whole good weekend.
Yeah. I mean, we had so much wrestling. We had SmackDown.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Holy shit. So we were all wrestling out for a hot minute, but two very, very good shows. Mostly what we called, but a lot of surprises. Mm-hmm. And I was perfectly fine with that. So Drew McIntyre suspended, coming back next week. Maybe he might, although I think he's going to get suspended again. I think he's going to attack Adam Pearce. I was like, he's bald.
Oh, because he's bald-headed. I see.
He is bald. He knows that.
Of you.
Excuse me?
Nothing. He got an elbow to that bald head.
Yeah, he did. He got a freaking elbow to the dome, cracked that egg on him. But obviously the talk of what happened Monday night, I thought it was weird that Dominic and Liv facing Ray and Zelina for the main event. I was like, oh, no, I don't buy it. Something big's happening. Something big's happening. And of course, this is my brutality.
Oh, got a little whisper, a little ASMR for you.
Mommy is back.
Catching Dom and Liv in quite the compromising position.
Mommy is back and she's pissed.
She's pissed.
Livid. I do appreciate.
Livid. Mm-hmm.
Whoa. WWE, if you use TM, that's ours.
Nice try, bitches. Yeah. This is very interesting. It feels like we're getting the ball rolling.
I'm maintaining, and this is the most interesting or interested in Liv Morgan I've ever been.
True.
And if she's your favorite, great. I love that for you. I just have never been like particularly interested. Again, as a character, as a on-screen presence, don't know her personally. Sure, she's nice. Before anyone comes for us for that.
Also, she's not given a lot to do. It's not all her fault.
And if this story plays out the way we think it's going to play out, I think this has the potential to be one of the stories of the year. Like, because I think there's something much bigger she's planning than what we're seeing. And I don't think it's just a story of her championships revolving the men. Like, I think there's something bigger at play. At least I hope. So, but really glad that Rhea Ripley is back. Hopefully she had a great honeymoon in her real life.
Is that where she was?
Yeah, she
was injured too, right?
Well, she was. I don't know how. I'm sure she was a little injured, but
it was off her honeymoon.
Got married and went on her honeymoon.
I knew she got married. I didn't know she went on her honeymoon. Good for her.
So glad she's back. Can't wait to see her. I'm assuming she'll have a big return at SummerSlam. I'm sure that'll be her first big match.
Against Liv or against Dom? I would love to see a Rhea versus Dom match.
Maybe they'll do a custody battle.
Another one, yeah.
I saw that WWE put that match on their YouTube. Yeah. Just to remind everybody. I also love that Dom put that fucking picture of Eddie Guerrero up where he was trying to apologize to China. Like father, like son.
Yeah, truly.
Say his name and he appears. We all believed in Joe Hendry. Oh yeah, if you don't do the arms,
I've seen so many people doing the claps without doing the arms. The arms are honestly more important
because it's also on beat. One, two, three.
Arms. Yeah.
It's all choreography, baby. So Joe Hendry, we saw the tease of Joe Hendry at the end of NXT Heatwave.
A jump scare.
A Joe Hendry jump scare.
Yeah.
We saw once Javon Evans, I'm surprised he was fucking alive after NXT Heatwave, but he showed up and got jumped. He promptly got jumped by Brooks Jensen.
Yeah.
And then we got a tease for Joe Hendry a couple times throughout the program. Mm-hmm. And then we finally saw him and just shook the house. I'm so excited that he's around. I don't know how many more Hendry appearances we're going to get, but even if that's the only one, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And it's so cool to see how over he is in just the wrestling world, not even just TNA. Mm-hmm. Just everybody's just freaking out about this guy.
Yeah. This is my first time watching like a full match of his because obviously he was royally screwed out of the last one. Whatever. And yeah, he was really entertaining to watch. I love that they incorporate his intro, him turning and this fast zoom right onto his face, that they do that during the match. Like he does a move and then they do that. It's so good. I would love to be able to see more of him, but I also understand that he does not wrestle for WWE.
Right.
He wrestles for the people. And yeah, I hope we get, and it does seem like we're going to get more of him in the future. I would love to see him on maybe Raw too, and not just NXT, but I mean, we watched NXT that day just for him.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people did. So he's boosting numbers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. We'll see, because I recently heard Jordan Grace's contract may have been amended to allow her to be a free agent as soon as January rather than the summer. So if they're willing to shell out enough money, I'm sure
they could maybe buy him out of his contract if they really wanted to. But
I think he made his own song, so I think that song belongs to him. So wherever he goes,
I would hope so.
I'm sure he can use it. I would hope. But anyway, and lastly, let's talk about Solo Sikoa's Bloodline.
Y'all see that?
Hang on. Sorry, we're talking about it.
Sorry. Oh, you can see the marks from my desk.
Can't help it.
Solo Sikoa's Bloodline.
Here's the thing. Maybe it's just me, but I think he's finding his aura, as the kids say. I'm not saying it's all there.
I do feel like this promo we got on Friday was like, I felt like we got a little bit more like in the moment improv from Solo Sikoa, which is hard. Don't get me wrong. I don't blame people for wanting to stick to the script, but he felt very villainous.
Yeah.
On Friday. So I think I agree with you. I think he's finding his rhythm. I'm not going to say his aura or whatever the fuck you said.
So I think for me, it started last Friday. I think the pre-recorded promos that they've been doing with the Bloodline, I think helped 1,000%. Because it's sort of what they did with when Edge was leading Judgment Day, how they had those those pre-recorded promos he would do. Because one, it allows him to say what he's saying and for the audience to hear it without them constantly booing, which, don't get me wrong, I love wrestling fans. I love how engaged they are, especially in the moment. You're reacting how you react. I love that. That's part of the experience, right? However, sometimes
I want to hear what they say.
I want to hear what they fucking say, right? So I do think that the pre-recorded promos and video packages they're doing have helped tremendously. But I don't know. I feel like even the other surrounding members of the Bloodline are kind of settling into their roles, and just the inclusion of Jacob Fatu, just because Solo was once the enforcer, right? Yeah. So we're making Solo also still feel like a threat, but also you've got okay, now you got these dudes who are really settling in. I love that Jacob Fatu's always doing the prayer hands in those promos. Yeah. So especially this last Friday, I don't know. I'm like, man, I think I'm coming around a little bit. I'm not. I'll throw the ones up because I can't help it. Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't want my OG Bloodline back, but if this is the Bloodline we have now and they continue on the path they're on, I'm thinking they're not so bad. Yeah. And I'm thinking they're kind of doing their thing now.
I feel like that's very big shoes to fill.
Right.
And I don't think some people are very impatient with stuff like that, but I mean, think of how long Solo has been in WWE. Not very long.
Right. Especially compared to the rest of his family.
Or Roman Reigns, who
right.
he's becoming like the purposefully bootlegged Roman Reigns.
Right.
Like, that's intimidating. So yeah, I think it makes sense that it's going to take some time, especially because he's just had like his whole bloodline assembled for just a couple weeks.
Right.
So I think from here, it's only going to get better and better each week. It's going to feel truer and truer to what the bloodline, like how cohesive they felt in their prime.
Right.
But that kind of stuff takes time to establish, and they have to, outside of like wrestling in the story, these people have to get used to working together.
Right.
For the first time probably ever.
Right.
And some of them have like new characters and new roles that they have to do. So yeah, I think from here on out, we're going to see a steady incline in the quality of the bloodline, eventually leading us to what I can only assume is going to be like a bloodline versus bloodline match.
Right. And I think having Solo pin Cody at Money in the Bank, right move. I think it makes him and the bloodline look strong. I think them destroying Randy in front, making Cody watch. Come on, that's some devious dog, right? So, yeah, no, I'm really digging it. So I think they're finally cooking, but that's just me.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Cooking, they're sizzling. The pan is getting hot.
The pan's getting hot.
And then soon
we put the oil in.
Soon we can put the oil in. The oil, when it starts to shimmer, then we can start cooking.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's all we got for you tonight or today, whenever you're listening to
tonight
this, at this moment. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you haven't already, please follow us on all of the things. Make sure you're subscribed, you're following, whatever you do, wherever you do it. All we ask is that you like, you comment, you share, you rate, all that.
How much? Wipe my ass while you're at it. Damn.
Oh my God.
You got so much to do.
You only have to do it on one of those platforms. Okay. Just do it the once. We would love to keep doing these. And make sure you are keeping up with what we're doing on our social media. That way you can see when we go live, especially on Twitch and TikTok.
Mostly TikTok these days.
But we are still doing pre-preview, so keep an eye out. We have the next one coming up in just a few weeks for SummerSlam. So, woo! And I think that's about it.
See.
Just
stare at each other.
You're gonna be popular.
Oh gosh, just a little treat for you guys for the road.
We got a tribal chief, and I got nothing.
Chelsea Green.
Oh, shout out to Chelsea Green. Love Chelsea Green.
Oh my God, you were amazing. Anyway, that's all, you guys.
Peace.
Talk to you later. Bye.